Hey everybody, this is Beelit, and I wanted to make a little video talking about Alita Battle Angel. So I saw this movie, and it was one of the things that I wasn't entirely sure if I was ever going to go see it. It seemed interesting, but I was unfamiliar with the source material. I've like seen it around, but I never really got into it, never read it or anything like that, never engaged in it. Um, but I thought it was interesting enough to maybe give a shot. And I actually got a chance to watch it. And so I jumped at the chance because I had nothing else to do and I thought it'd be a nice thing to do at the end of the day. And I wanted to give my thoughts on it. Now, for me, the thing I enjoyed the most was actually the visuals. And not always the character designs, but the character designs were, in some cases, really freaking cool. It is weird to see a human face on an all CGI uh, body, and that is weird, but the movie actually did a pretty decent job with it, strangely enough. Honestly, I feel like it didn't have as much right working as well as it did. you know but the real beauty of the movie came from the backgrounds, came from the worlds. uh Holy crap, it was beautiful. They freaking nailed it. It absolutely beautiful. And the art in and of itself, the art style, the way that everything looked was very unique. It was very unique and cool to see, and then just done so incredibly well at the same time that visually just watching the movie was fun. Well, just it was enjoyable just to look at. It was that well done for me. So definitely my favorite part of the movie was definitely the visuals. Character designs were pretty cool here and there. Some of the things that went on in the world were unique and interesting, but definitely it was those visuals of just the world that I loved. I absolutely freaking loved. Um, Now, okay, now we're going on to the stuff that was kind of gripey. Not necessarily things that I hated, but things that I had kind of gripes with. Um, some character relationships were BS. Okay, so it as soon as okay, here's my thing that I really hate in movies is when you have a character and they meet someone for the first time and the movie beats you over the head with the fact that they are the love interest. Ah, that's such an annoyance for me. And I get that maybe in a sense, for a movie with limited runtime, that there is some necessity in that. Maybe I don't know. I'm not a director, so I don't have the experience to say, oh well, it could have been done in 5 minutes by doing it this way instead of just having the character stare to really beat the audience over the head with it. They could have nuanced it in order to do it in 5 minutes, but honestly, I don't even really know if you can set it up that quickly and it not be stupid. So that's why I don't get like seriously angry at a movie for it, because I honestly, if you need to establish that for the rest of your movie, I honestly don't know how to establish it as quickly as it needs to be done in order to get to all the other stuff that you have. And this movie's got a lot of stuff in it. I don't know how quickly or how well you can do it in that time frame. And so I'm willing to kind of just like accept it. I still don't like it, but I can accept it and try to move on. But it's one of those things that always hits me. I hate when people fall in love because they're supposed to fall in love. It's so frustrating. Um, Other gripes about the movie. Um, you know what? I'm actually going to save this for a negative. I'm going to save this and come back to a negative. It's actually the dialogue and the acting. So we're going to save that towards the end. Um, but more back to the gripes. There are times when the movie accelerates really freaking fast, and then there are other times where it slows down. And I really remember this because towards the, I want to say maybe about the 3/4 mark of the movie, I thought it was ending. I thought the movie was done at the 3/4 mark, somewhere around there. And I'm like, man, this is a really extended ending. This is weird. This is taking a lot of time. And I'm like, but now it feels like they're introducing a new thread. Oh, are they just setting this up for a sequel? That's really odd. Like, you're getting really into detail about all these things for a sequel. You know, I mean, you can just kind of leave it. You don't need to go this. Oh, we're still going. Oh, is there still a movie after this? Am I not done yet? I was sitting there for like 10 minutes expecting the movie was done, and it was that slow. Like, we just ramped up, and then it felt like this was the ending of the movie, and then it just kept going. It felt like it was coming straight back down, that we were about to end the movie, have the set up for whatever was going to come up next, but it was going to cut off, and then it just kept going and kept going and kept going at the same pace of the ending of a movie for a while. For a freaking while, it just kept going. And then it's like, oh, there's still more movie left. And then stuff happened. And then we just went back to being a movie again that hadn't been finished yet. And I'm sitting there just completely flabbergasted that the movie wasn't done. I was finishing my drink because I thought we were gonna be done, and I didn't want to have to like chug it right in front of the freaking garbage can. It was that I was that sure. So pacing was a little bit off at points, but I am glad the movie didn't end when I thought it was going to end, because that would have been kind of a rough ending, and the ending that it had was far better. But very roller coastery as far as pace goes. But I'm not hugely dissatisfied with the pacing. It was odd, and that one time was really jarring. Another thing with the gripes, I mentioned possibly that the action scenes are kind of hit and miss. There were a lot of kind of I don't know how best to say it, but like almost action scenes that you're expected to enjoy just because of like slow-mo kind of stuff. Like just because someone dodges things in a weird way doesn't mean it's cool, and you slow-mo it, but it's like I know that it just, like, there's no talent, I guess, being displayed when you just dodge and everything just goes around you, how maybe I'm not saying this correctly. Like, it feels, a lot of the action felt like, generic cool stuff. I'll say it this way. Maybe you can kind of get what I'm trying to say. There was a point, and I'm not going to spoil, who or what or anything like that. I'm just going to talk purely about the shot itself for this fight. You have these kind of like almost chain spears flying through the air, and the character is doing like these flips in between the chains, and it's going slow motion, but they're doing like one flip that just so happens to go through each of the 5 different chain spears perfectly, and they do that shot like 3 or 4 times, and it's like generic cool action scene. It's like you've seen it a billion times before when the camera slows down and like, oh, look how cool this is. It's they're dodging all these things. It's like that was a guest dodge. That they did one action and it just got through all 5 of the things like that. I'm not really impressed by that kind of stuff because it's corny to me. It's just convenience, it's generic, cool looking stuff. And it doesn't do it for me anymore because it's just so dumb, you know? There are a lot of things like that, but also, to be fair, there are a lot of subversions to that too, which I don't want to say anything on because I might accidentally mess things up. But going on to the things that I didn't like now. Things that I didn't like. This is huge. Dialogue. The dialogue in this movie had some groaners in it. Like, you could hear people in the audience groaning. It really was at times that bad. Acting, I was going to mention that in the gripes, but the acting paired with the dialogue, I kind of want to put those together because sometimes, like, man, those were flat. The dialogue had a lot of, corny moments, a lot of cheesy moments, a lot of times where you guessed exactly what they're going to say, their little quips and stuff back and forth, and like, whatever. But when it's predictable dialogue, when it's this cliche, every action movie dialogue, and the person saying it almost kind of regrets it as they're saying it, and you feel that, and you feel like it's there's no enthusiasm when they're saying it too. It just makes it that much worse. But the dialogue in general, I would say at least every 5 to 10 minutes, there was something where, I would kind of roll my eyes or kind of huff at or chuckle at, and then of course every now and then there were groaners where it's just, holy crap, did they really just say that? I had these women sitting next to me. I guess one was either mother or grandmother, and then there was a teenage girl, and even the teenage girl, she at one point she goes, "That was bad." And of course, everything that I have, it took everything that I had to not burst out laughing when she said that. Holy crap, some of the dialogue was just atrocious. Crap, man, it was so freaking bad. My negative views on the movie almost entirely stem from the dialogue being so stupid and bad and dumb. It really was that. Honestly, my biggest gripe with the movie was how bad some of the dialogue was, and there were a lot of weak parts to the movie, weak plot points, but honestly, the dialogue is just such a overshadowing thing. I honestly just couldn't get past it the whole movie. There's one other point that I want to talk about as a negative, and then I'm going to try to avoid spoiling it, but it is pretty hard to talk about without spoiling. I'm going to do my best. There is a point where a person is set up, and they are set up for a crime that they did not commit, and there is absolutely no explanation for how in the world they could be set up for it. There was no accountability. There was no verification of them committing the crime. It was just instantly, oh, you're set up for this crime, and that's it. It was crap. It's really hard to talk about this without spoiling it, but they were set up for a crime on the spot, and instantly the whole world believed that they committed this crime. You know what? In order to do this, I'm gonna do small spoilers. Okay, I'm not gonna go into the whole thing. I'm just gonna say just enough that you can understand what happens in this scene. Okay, so I'm not gonna use any names or anything like that. But beware, this is small spoiler. Person meets other person, and other person is mad at person, and so other person wants to have an excuse for killing person. So other person kills other dude and says to person, now you've killed someone. And that means that other person can now kill person. Now, mind you, there were only 3 of them in that position. There were only 3 people there. And after other guy or other dude, whatever I called him, after other dude is killed, there's no one else there. So how could other person frame person when there's no witnesses to this? There are no witnesses to this. He just says, oh, now you've killed other dude. That means you're a criminal, and now I can kill you. What are you talking about? And then it works. Then it works. Then the whole world is like, person killed a person. Person killed other dude. Kill him. Now he's a criminal. First of all, nobody saw this happen. Nobody knows how other dude died. Nobody even knows that person was in the area. How? Oh my, holy crap, man. That made me freaking furious. That was so freaking dumb. Just instantly the world just believes it. Oh, holy crap. Holy crap. And further than that, when other person is then trying to kill person, he never reported it. There was never any time for him to report it before he's already trying to kill person. So how does the world know? So freaking angry. So dumb. So freaking dumb. Now, with all that rant about it, with all of that, you're probably expecting that I'm going to rate this movie super duper freaking low. And while I don't think it's an all that great movie, I think it has a crap ton of potential. And I would really like to see a sequel done. I just want it done with a little bit more discretion. So out of a rating of 10, I would actually give this movie a 6 out of 10. I think there's a lot of potential in it, and some of this movie was legitimately interesting and cool and unique, and I would like to see it again, but better. And I feel like if they take another shot at this thing, if they just pay more attention to the writing, they pay more attention to, keeping a solid world that feels believable, where things don't just happen, if they have things a little bit more clear, more concise, a little bit steadier throughout the movie, it'll be a slam freaking dunk. It'll be a good movie. And by the way, this was rated PG-13. This was pretty dark for PG-13. I actually legitimately had to look up the rating after I saw the movie because I thought it was rated R. And I was surprised. So that is something to keep in mind. It is actually surprisingly dark. And you do see a lot that I didn't think you could get away with in a PG-13, to be honest. Even an F-bomb on top of all that other stuff too. So like I was really, I mean, I know you can get away with an F-bomb, but I didn't think that you could get away with an F-bomb and all the other stuff too. Like that's what surprised me. I thought you had like either you could do an F-bomb or you could have like some like disgusting blood and severing body parts and all that kind of stuff. I didn't think you could have both and still be PG-13. I didn't think that you could, and they did like more than one of these like, holy crap, that dude is dead kind of things. Like they had some mutilation in this movie, and yeah, very surprising. I legitimately did. I'm not just BSing you. I looked up the rating of the movie after I was done because I thought it was R, and I was thinking, wow, why was there such a young crowd in that movie? There were some young people in there. But yeah, PG-13, surprisingly dark, and you know what? I'd really like them to continue that on. I thoroughly enjoyed that tone of the movie. But if you have seen Alita Battle Angel, let me know what you thought. If you haven't, even though I rated it a 6, I would kind of suggest it. If it looked like it was something that you might be interested in, I kind of suggest going to see it. It was pretty enough. It was unique enough that, I'm not mad. I enjoyed it. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video as well. I will see you guys next time.